Hi crafty friends, it's Lori with a craft party. Today we're going to do a special kind of pocket with a piece of paper out of a book. And I noticed when I got this out that the writing looks to be a little on the not straight side. Let's see. Yeah, see how crooked that is? It's really crooked, but that's okay. It'll just make it a little bit neater. First thing we're going to do is take our ruler that has a jagged line on it, and we're going to rip some off. Give it that jaggedness on all four sides. Okay. All right. And remember that book page, especially vintage book page, is just a little bit weaker, so you have to be more careful when you're inking. I'll see if I have to use my inking paper or if I can do it without ripping it. But they're usually a little weaker, so you want to be more careful. This is just an unusual pocket today. Kind of something different for our junk journal. I think I'm going to put it in my Keepsake Junk Journal. See there, that one's ripping. I think it'll be okay though. I'm going to put it in the Keepsake Journal, I believe. It depends on what it comes out looking like. I first want to turn it over, and we're going to try to evenly make a point on this, like this. And then we're going to use the glue and glue this down. And then we want to turn it over. Turn the page over. We want to ink these edges. And then we want to, let's see about how much. It really depends on how big your page is. But I am, let's see, about 1 3/4 inches, a little. We'll try to go down just a little bit and make it 1 3/4 inches. Try to make my page on the even side. Ink that. And I'm going to put a notch. I better use a smaller one for my notch. Okay, and I'm going to ink that up. Then I'm going to go ahead and get out some glue. And I'm going to put it just on the edge so my pocket is bigger. Need my towel. Got a little excess here. We want to give this a press. Okay, then I'm going to come in with, I believe, some of this. I'm going to try to find a piece that now I'm pulling these apart, and what it's doing is it's not making a white side very much on this side, and it's not making a white side very much on this side. So if you want to do something like that, feel free, or you can just tear it. Just remember that depending on which way you tear it, you're going to have a white edge. And I don't know if I've got enough here. I should have checked, but I'm going to tear this edge too. Yeah, I got a little too much, so we're going to tear some more. There we go. We got a little bit of an edge for decoration to embellish it some. And you could have made this a pocket too if you wanted. Grab out my paper punch. I don't know how well it's going to punch. That's the small one. We want the big one. Yeah, it punched okay, but you got to be careful when you're punching into paper that's glued and the glue's not dry. And I want to put on some reinforcement. See what I did with those. They're way back in the back. So I pulled out some reinforcements, and I've already got these inked. And I am going to put a little glue. These are from the Dollar Tree. So I want to put a little glue on them to try to hold them down a little better. There's that. And I want to put one on the other side just so the reinforcement is stronger. Okay. And if you notice, I got quite a bit of glue on there. So I want to squeeze that out. But we've got that. And then I am going to look in my ephemera pack. That's the add-on pack. That's the paper pack. Here's the ephemera and fussy cuts, and we'll see. No. We forgot to ink that up. That's why it's kind of fallen back in the background. This piece didn't get inked. But I think we'll use that butterfly. But we'll definitely ink that up so it doesn't get mixed up in the background. Okay. And as you know, I like to use some foam tape. And I am going to just put it on the center. Okay, we'll lift that up off of there. Put a little glue on there. There's that. I'm going to get out a little sari silk. It still feels like it's falling back into the background. I'm going to lift this up and stick that underneath. And then we've got it coming out both sides, and that kind of lifts that butterfly up. And then the butterfly wings can be lifted up a little bit to give it some dimension. And let's see what kind of embellishment bling I've got. None of these really go. Let's see. I've got these. And these are just nail art gems, but I like them because they're small. Because a lot of the times that's what I'm looking for. I've got some pink in here that I think might go well. Okay, let's try the pink. I'm looking for different sizes. It looks like I'm going to have to, I always hate pouring it out, but to see what I'm looking for. And get out my magic wand. This really helps pick up the jewels when I find one I want. There, that one looks like. And one more of those. I'm going to go with the same color, I think, if I can find another there. No, wrong color. That one's a white one. I want a light pink. Looks like I'm going to have to pour a few more out. There we go. So that'll work. Go ahead and put some glue on there, just lightly. And then we've got the wand to set them on there. And there we go. We've got a pocket to put in our junk journal. I think what we'll do is grab some more sari silk. I'm going to have to trim this off. It's really crooked and I need more than that. Okay, we'll put some sari silk there at the top as more embellishment. And you want to be careful because when you're using book paper, even though you've got the reinforcements, it still is hard to keep it from ripping. So you want to be very careful when you're pulling it through here. And hopefully I don't rip it. And a lot of times I will pull one and then pull the other and pull the one and then pull the other. And then I've got the sari silk at the top, and it's just a different envelope, or not envelope, but pocket that we normally don't do, but it gives it a little bit of variety. And we can put it in here on a page, but I'm not going to stick it down yet because that glue's got to dry. But what I'll probably do is glue this down. I've got a pocket here, and then I'll probably leave this open. I'll just glue from here over to here and then leave this open so I've got a pocket back here. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thank you for crafting with me. If you would, comment, like, and subscribe down below. I'm sorry my voice is a little scratchy today. I've got a little bit of a cough and cold. Hugs.